everyone, you're watching The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil. Prime Minister Modi spent his day in two poll-bound states, Bihar and Bengal. Bihar goes to polls in few months from now and Bengal early next year. In Gandhi Maidan in Motihari, which is in East Champaran district, Prime Minister coined a new slogan, Banayenge Naya Bihar, Phir Ek Baar NDA Sarkar. This is Prime Minister Modi's sixth visit to Bihar in recent months, where he unveiled multiple projects worth over 7,200 crores and flagged off 4 Amrit Bharat Express trains. While slamming previous RJD and Congress governments, Prime Minister Modi said that RJD cannot give you employment who had grabbed your land in their name. He said, while making a veiled reference to RJD chief Lalu Yadav and his family members' alleged involvement in the land for job scam. Remember, Prime Minister Modi had earlier visited Bhagalpur, Madhubani, Rohtas and Siwan districts to address public rallies while unveiling and laying foundation stones for several thousand crore projects for the development of Bihar. Let's listen in to what the Prime Minister said and the rebuttal that came in from the RJD.
साथियों, कांग्रेस और आरजेडी गरीबों, दलितों, पिछड़ों और आदिवासियों के नाम पर राजनीति करते आए हैं, लेकिन बराबरी का अधिकार तो दूर, ये परिवार से बाहर के लोगों को सम्मान तक नहीं देते। इन लोगों का अहंकार आज पूरा बिहार देख रहा है। हमें बिहार को इनकी बुरी नीयत से बचाकर रखना है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी के आज के दौरे को लेकर के खुद उन्होंने कहा कि 7200 करोड़ की सौगात। आप बताइए पत्रकार मित्रों, लोकतंत्र में सौगात कोई चीज नहीं होती है, ये राजतंत्र का शब्द है। नरेंद्र मोदी देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं, कोई मुगल बादशाह नहीं है, तो अव्वल तो ये शब्दावली बंद करें। पूंजी गुजरात में और मजदूर श्रमिक बिहार से जाए, उसके लिए आप बी ग्रेड ट्रेन देते हो और कहते हो बिहार वासियों तुम्हारी हैसियत यही है।
Prime Minister Modi then went to Bengal and launched a sharp attack on the Trinamool Congress government, accusing it of fostering 3Ls, which is lies, lawlessness and loot, during its rule while addressing a public rally in Durgapur. Addressing the row over Bengali-speaking migrants, Mr. Modi also said that wherever there is Bharatiya Janata Party governments, Bengalis are respected. He also accused the Trinamool Congress and the left of never considering to recognize Bangla as a classical language, which he said BJP has done. He added that for BJP, Bengali Ashmita is supreme.
टीएमसी की साजिश उजागर हो गई है, तो उसने घुसपैठियों के पक्ष में नई मुहिम शुरू कर दी है। ये देश के संविधान को, संवैधानिक संस्थाओं को भी चुनौती दे रहे हैं। टीएमसी अब उनके समर्थन में खुलकर उतर आई है, लेकिन मैं दुर्गापुर की धरती से साफ साफ कह दूं, जो भारत का नागरिक नहीं है, फिर से सुन लीजिए, जो भारत का नागरिक नहीं है, जो घुसपैठ करके आया है, उसके साथ भारत के संविधान के तहत न्याय सम्मत कार्रवाई होती रहेगी।
This remark of the Prime Minister comes after Mamata Banerjee led a protest march through Kolkata on Wednesday amidst rains, alleging that drives were being conducted in BJP-ruled states to detain Bengali-speaking workers following a secretive a secret directive which has been issued by the centre to these governments. Let's listen in to what the West Bengal Chief Minister had to say.
এনআরসির নামে একটা নোটিফিকেশন জারি করেছে। আমি দেখলাম নোটিফিকেশনটা ফেব্রুয়ারি মাসে এই 25 সালে ইলেকশনের 1 বছর আগে, যে যাকেই সন্দেহ হবে জেলে গিয়ে 1 মাস রেখে দিতে পারো। বিনা বিচারে 1 মাস রেখে দেবেন? তার মানে হোয়াট ইজ দিস? এটা মোর দ্যান এমার্জেন্সি। ইন্দিরা গান্ধীকে গালাগালি দিয়ে সুপার এমার্জেন্সি ডে পালন করলেন। তাহলে আপনারা কি করছেন? It is more than emergency and illegal detention.
Joining me on the show tonight, Professor Sajjan Kumar is a political analyst who recently wrote a brilliant piece on Bihar, and hence he'll have some interesting insights to share today. Shazia Ilmi is the national spokesperson of the BJP. Nighat Abbas is representing the Congress. Parimal Kumar is JDU spokesperson. Professor Subodh Mehta is RJD spokesperson. And Mohammad Tausif Rahman is the spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Professor Subodh Mehta, it's increasingly becoming clear that as far as the BJP is concerned and the entire NDA campaign, it's the Prime Minister who's leading it. And when it is about brand Narendra Modi, we all know what the results are. Repeated Lok Sabha polls, it has been that people of Bihar have had faith in him. They have displayed that faith as well through votes.
Look, Maria, when you look to the land of Mahatma Gandhi, Karam Bhumi, West Champaran, and what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is talking like a Machiavellian, the land of truth, and he has become a fountain of asatya. Primarily because I am saying these words, primarily because when you look to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has talked about on education, on job, on migration, on development politics, and he has targeted the rule of Rashtriya Janata Dal, which started from 1990 to 2005. When you look to the economic development of 1990 to 2005 and from 2005 to 2025, you will find that, when you look to the budget allocation, the budget of Bihar in 2005 was 26,000 crore and the national budget was approximately 4,50,000 crore. And now when you look to the Bihar budget at present, it is approximately 3 lakh crore and the national budget is 50 lakh crore. So when you compare the both, so the gap is huge. So our time we have done much developmental, we had adopted much developmental approach, and even look to the United Nations Human Development Index in those 15 years and during Nitish regime. Even in the Human Development Index, which happened to be the part of education, health and per capita income, Bihar has done tremendously well as compared to the national average. And when you look to the today Human Development Index as compared to the national average. Now, when you look to the crime factor, even the Bihar police crime data and the NCRB data shows that when we left the government in 2005, the cognizance offense of Bihar was 95,000.
Problem is, Professor Mehta, let's be clear about one thing. Yes, the lawlessness in Bihar may be just about seeping in, but you can't claim on the basis of any parameter that when you left the government in 2005, the NCRB data was promising. So let's not get into the data which you are selectively quoting. Of course, there is a problem right now in Bihar with regards to the lawlessness and the law and order, but you cannot even compare to what we saw pre-2005. Okay, let's bring in Shazia Ilmi. Shazia Ilmi. No. Professor Mehta, please wait now. Please wait. There are others on the panel who have to be brought in. Yes, Shazia Ilmi, please come in.
Yes, so Maria, I heard what Professor Saab had to say. But before that, I would just like to say that I think Prime Minister spelled out things just as they are. And he rebuked the RJD government and also TMC for what they have become. And yes, it is completely, a lack of empathy for the governed that we are seeing in both the states, especially at the time when Lalu Prasad Yadav was there. But of course, Prime Minister spoke about corruption, and just today itself, the Supreme Court, which actually said that it refused the appeal, of RJD to stop any action that wants action to be prevented from taking place on the jobs for land deal and the scam. So I think a lot has been said there. And as for Bihar per se, if you look at just the number of jobs and the opportunities, if you look at the Awas Yojana, 4 crore houses, 60 lakh alone in Bihar itself, and various schemes. And he did speak about 7,200 crore investment as opposed to what it used to be, 9 lakh crores as opposed to 2 and all of that. But he actually gave numbers and he talked about the infrastructure projects. He talked about the trains. He talked about a whole lot of other things. And also spoke about what RJD stands for. Similarly, when it comes to TMC in West Bengal, he talks about what they stand for and the whole thing of the Gunda Raj, the various two parties, yesteryears for RJD and right now TMC in present times stands for. So yes, Prime Minister spelt it out. These are important election narrative and real narratives. And yes, we want Bihar to do much better and to continue on an onward progress, path of progress, and not to really relapse.
Okay. Nikhil Abbas, is this a matter of concern that there has to be a joint narrative that has to come from the RJD, I should say Mahagathbandhan parties, they should be jointly taking on the NDA, which is not happening at present. It is appearing to be scattered. What is the issue that will be uniting Mahagathbandhan and something that you will be taking on the NDA government on?
Good evening, Maria, to you, my fellow panelists and the viewers of the NDTV tonight. See, it is a very good question what you're raising, but I think most important part right now is not the opposition to be discussed, but what exactly is happening since 10 years since the NDA has formed the government. I mean, I heard, and obviously you played in your story very well, and it is a very good saying, I'd say, कानों को सुनने के लिए बहुत अच्छा लगता है when the PM said that हम नया बिहार बनाएंगे. I'm saying, please have mercy, sir. Nobody needs Naya Bihar. What we need is a Purana Bihar, which we promised 10 years ago. At least give us that. I mean, co-panelist has just spoken about the NCRB data where Bihar is almost topping the list, which has the crime against the women. I mean, let's not even bring that. That is like every time we are talking about that, but the government is quietly sitting on it. But my co-panelist, Shazia Elmiji, spoke about 4 points, and I'd like to talk about that. She spoke about the jobs. I want to know that where are these 2 crore jobs which are being delivered by Narendra Modi ji and the BJP and the NDA government? On which planet, to which youth are you giving? Because as far as the report suggests, the youth unemployment in Bihar is the highest. It tops the list. She spoke about the infrastructure. Let's talk about the infrastructure, madam. 60% of government schools in Bihar lacks basic toilet amenities, which is leading to the girl dropout of the school. 40% of females are dropping out of the school before they complete their 10th class. And she talked about that, you know, the amenities, the basic amenities have increased and it has become better. It is very important, Maria. Let's talk about that. Bihar is the second highest state which has the arsenic contamination in the groundwater. I mean, 54% of people are not even getting the basic water. इंसान पैदा होता है, we expect कि खाना आराम से मिल जाए, पानी. In Bihar, since 10 years, the NDA is the government,
all that
the center
has been
is your
said by
government,
Nigar
you have the government.
are valid arguments. Okay,
Nigar,
Nigar, you have made your point. Whatever she said are valid points, because what's becoming clear is that the NDA is not showing its own report card. Instead, it is talking about what happened 20 years ago. Please unmute yourself.
About that. That is not true. Prime Minister very categorically talked about Har Ghar Jal, and he talked about the progress there. He talked about Lakpati Didis. He talked about how many houses have been there. Figures that I just talked about, 60 lakh families benefiting. They're huge in terms of just, whether they're medical colleges and referral colleges and the increase of schools and primary and secondary level education. Those are huge, very big numbers, which is exactly why people want to trust only Modi ji and Nitish Babu. And that is exactly why they do not want scoundrels and people who are associated with land for job. And Prime Minister is so right. People are talking about berozgari and giving employment who are actually taking pattas of zameen, who are actually taking land from the youth in exchange for job. And that is such a serious matter. And today itself, Supreme Court has reprimanded Lalu Prasad Yadav and the family and said, no, all the karwai and will continue, and the court proceedings will continue, and there is no way you will get relief in the matter. This is coming from the Supreme Court. No less, nothing less or more. So I'm talking about the Honorable Supreme Court. And when everybody knows what's happened in Bihar. We know about the Jungle Raj, what we saw in yesteryears. So it is a very horrific memory. And
but what happened yesterday was also a very horrific memory. Extremely disturbing. And Parimal Kumar of the JDU also joins us. Parimal Kumar, it's all very well to talk about, the future, what plans you have. But of course, people of Bihar, particularly the youth, will ask that what happened to all the promises that was made by Nitish Kumar. And also, let me ask an additional question. Is there also a realization that perhaps Nitish Kumar has become a liability, and that is the reason why the Prime Minister has to front this campaign?
Maria, whatever commitment my leader made to the people of Bihar, he almost fulfilled it. And you see, 2 months before, he started Pragati Yatra. What is the meaning of Pragati Yatra? It is more focused approach of development. The objective of Pragati Yatra was to review the work performed by the government since last 27 years. And if there is any particularly any negligence, he ordered the authority to complete the task. So under the leadership of Nitish Kumar, Bihar is safe. Under the leadership of Nitish Kumar, Bihar emerged as the third fastest growing economy. Under the leadership of particularly Nitish Kumar, India is world example of women's empowerment. Under the leadership of Nitish Kumar, actually 518 new industries have been set up. You know that geographical condition of Bihar is conducive only for agriculture. But despite of this fact, you see, during Jungle Raj particularly, several industrial units were leaving Bihar or education institution, better doctor and experts were leaving Bihar because they were afraid of the kidnapping and ransom collected by the RJD. But you see in Bihar, almost during Nitish Kumar government, particularly you find every better amenities. Actually, Bihar experienced large-scale change under the leadership of Nitish Kumar, and now in 2025 to 30,
yes. So it's all about nostalgia. Sajjan Kumar, what's becoming evident in this entire campaign, which has of course only begun right now, we are looking at a very frail Nitish Kumar, pale shadow of what we are used to, the Sushashan Babu, the man who gave the Asmita to the people of Bihar like you and me. Now and the BJP realizing fully well that it is the Prime Minister who has to do heavyweight lifting here, and he has to front this campaign if the NDA has to come to power.
Yes, Maria, precisely. And it would be better to say that perhaps not only this election is going to be perhaps Nitish Kumar, who is in his twilight of his political career, perhaps last one with this, which is semi-quasi-active presence. But Bihar is already, it has started, and not just JDU, but you have RJD and you have BJP. They've started preparing and gearing for a scenario of post-Nitish Kumar Bihar right now. And that is why one need to see the political moves that is happening both within the Gathbandhan, Mahagathbandhan, as well as NK, wherein you will see a sort of glimpse wherein post-Nitish Kumar scenario is being prepared. Why that is important? As you said, Nitish Kumar gave a very much anticipated relief in his first term, 2005 to 10, and thereafter certainly there was some sort of betrayal of the man.
Developmental activity of the people. He is the engine of development in Bihar. Why
Professor Subodh, all this narrative is now old. In this election, which is a turning point election for the state, the JDU in particular will have to come up with something more innovative rather than piggy riding on the BJP Bihar, like you have done in 2020. Yes, please go ahead.
So let me complete. So if you see, yes, Nitish Kumar brought much anticipated. And we remember certainly from caste versus development framing was the dominant frame to study Bihar when Nitish came on the scenario. But thereafter, problem with Bihar is right now, even in this election, it seems that Bihar is refusing to move beyond 1990, not 1990s, but 1990. The rhetoric on both the sides, and I'm talking about Nitish Kumar versus Lalu Prasad Yadav, both are the Mandal
Is there any
Messiah
comparison between Lalu Prasad
and primarily, ultimately,
Okay, let's have only Sajjan on the screen,
rhetoric
please.
of
Why you are comparing two unequals? How you are?
Let me complete.
No, of course you will be compared with Lalu Yadav's regime. There is no other way of trying to judge Nitish Kumar. Please, let's have only Sajjan on the screen, please. Yes, go ahead, Sajjan.
So if you see, what is the problem? I mean, let's consider the two heavyweights in Bihar politics. Let's for a moment take Prime Minister out of this. Now, if you see, at the end of the day, both the Lalu Prasad Yadav, be it Tejasvi Yadav and Nitish Kumar, ultimately it is about the rhetoric of the social justice, which is very hostile to economic justice. Because when it comes to the politics of aspiration, every 3 out of 5 people happen to be below 25. Bihar is going to be the highest, the demographic dividend. But where is the politics of aspiration that way? Because still, if it's about those rhetoric which was there in 1919, you are competing along those lines. This is one. Two, despite it's a question of the relative ease, which caste and community have how much ease with either Gathbandhan or with Nitish Kumar and BJP. Now, therein, if Nitish is dwindling, suppose he is past his prime and a shadow of his old self, then certainly where in that section, the lower OBCs, MBCs or EBCs and Mahadalits and a section of the women, once Nitish Kumar grip weakens and Bihar moves into post-Nitish Kumar scenario, wherein this balancing, balancing support basis shifts towards the RJD, which still has a very solid Muslim Yadav support base, or towards the BJP, which is there but doesn't have the sort of grip among the OBCs, non-Yadav OBCs, the way it has in neighboring Uttar Pradesh. So that way, you see, this time at least, you do not see anything new. Still, we are talking about promises to Bihar, all the sort of new development promises, but overall the dominant narrative is that who is having better caste and community equation. But nevertheless, you see, what is the question that you ask, and you pointed out also, and rightly so, within Mahagathbandhan camp, certainly the chemistry between Congress and RJD doesn't seem to be as positive as is expected. It seems that they are working together but looking in different direction. Within NDA, you will find that Chirag Paswan, what is his real intention? Right now, he has more stakes with NDA, but what move is he going to make after a certain juncture? So that way, Bihar is in a state of flux, preparing itself for a scenario post Nitish Kumar scenario.
Okay.
This is the scenario that is afflicting ruling party, BJP and the RJD, but there is nothing new. There is no novelty.
Yes,
and that
there's
is
no novelty
Bihar
right now, because if it was about Thaka Hua Nitish Kumar in 2020, the opposition has also to come up with something more innovative in taking on the NDA in this.
Why you are using the term Thaka Hua since last?
No, because that was the phrase. I'm saying what opposition said. So let's bring in Tausif and Shazia Ilmi on the screen now. Tausif and Shazia Ilmi, because we are shifting focus to Bengal now. That's where the elections will be held in the month of March, April 2026. Tausif, a sharp attack from the Prime Minister. The fact is that the outsider card, which has been repeatedly used by Mamata Banerjee, may not work this time around.
So, first of all,
one moment. Shazia, I'm coming to you. Let Tausif speak.
Sorry.
Yeah, so whether it's a sharp attack or whether it's a shrap to Bengal, I don't understand. Because, the Prime Minister visit is nothing but a gimmick. I mean, the more often they come to Bengal, the further behind they fall in election. If they truly are the largest political party, why do they need such chaos in Bengal? They are gathering people from Odisha, Jharkhand and other states of India. This is the reality, man. But, I'll start. It's a very important debate. The Prime Minister himself began his speech in Bengal. Yet he did not enter a single word about a harassment, humiliation and attacks being faced by Bengali-speaking citizens in BJP ruling state. I mean, I just want to know. I mean, it's a very important debate. Shazia ji is here. I mean, is it a crime to become a Bengali and speak Bengali in other states in India, or speaking Bengali in Bengal itself? I mean, why do you want to attack the culture? Why do you want to attack the Bengal and the people of Bengal staying outside? I mean, what is the real motive of Narendra Modi coming to Durgapur? I mean, what kind of development? This is what I want to challenge always to all the BJP members, that bring your work short of 10 years. Show it to us and mean it, that what you have done for India and what you have done for Bengal, you are blessed with 18 seats. What have you done for Bengal, Shahzaji? Nothing, but just a gimme. So coming every time like a migrated bird and standing here and giving a storyteller, becoming a storyteller, I don't understand.
Bengal suffer and go
No,
from bad to worse when it comes to lawlessness, comes to crimes against
Bengal wants to something very lucrative, and that will only come from Mamata Bandyopadhyay, not from Narendra Modi.
Tausif, you said to bit. Yes, your bit. So one is, of course, the crumbling law and order situation, and we're seeing what's happening there, and the entire nexus of how criminalized the police is and how the deep nexus is. That's just one. But this complete enchantment with illegals and the need to include them and have them in the fray of electoral politics is something Mamata Banerjee will have to do a rethink on, because now you are getting caught out. The fact of the matter is, whether it's West Bengal or India, is for Indians. So to use the minority card or the Muslim card and play at that, and to normalize and think of legalizing, will not work. So this is what I'm talking about.
Let her finish.
And Prime Minister has taken the bull by the horns by talking about that. So it's very important, and so it's very important that this bit is addressed, and it's a serious, sensitive point with people. I mean, cutting across various details. I'm not talking about crimes against women. I'm not talking about the lawlessness. I'm talking about this one point. It's an emotive point. It's an electoral point. It is something that bothers, and that indeed is Bengali Asmita. And so, Tausif, you'll have to do a rethink, because if you're going to go for legalizing and normalizing infiltrators and illegals, making them part of Bengal elections, and the larger story, there are people in Bengal who will protest and will not have it. And Prime Minister has touched their sensitive nerve. It is your party which will have to come back with an answer.
Yes, Tausif.
No, let me come in, Maria, again. See, when we're talking about development, you are again talking about Hindutva, you are again talking about minority, you are again talking about the majority. Why don't you talk about development? Why don't you talk about unemployment? I mean, when you talk about Bengal, you always focus that Bengal has some kind of unemployment rate. I mean, Bengal annual unemployment rate is only 2.2%, which is 30% lower than the national average. In terms of employment, West Bengal is now one of the best performing states in the country. This is a clear indication of the state's development-oriented governments.
So, why are you running away from the real issue?
I'm exactly getting those reports.
But Tausif, you're again deflecting, aren't you?
The real issue is you are attacking the Bengalis. The real issue is you don't like Bengalis because you're not getting votes from the Bengalis. The real issue is that.
No,
but I don't want to
this is the card you're using, Bengalis, but it's not actually Bengalis.
No. What are you doing in Maharashtra?
You are normalizing the infiltration process, and for them to be get into the electoral fabric of India, for which there is a resistance, and this is a point made by the Prime Minister very sharply and pointedly.
That those who write or speak in Bengal should be identified as Bangladeshis. Are you serious? I mean, if we Bengalis speak Bengali in Bengal, are we Bangladeshis?
Okay. I have a question for Shazia here. Shazia, this is a card that you tried in the last Lok Sabha polls, where your numbers went down, in fact. This is the same card that you played in the last assembly elections. This card is not working.
But, so it's only, this is of course something we spoke about and will continue to speak about it, because this is an issue, and even when the SIR is going on in Bihar, it has come up and has to be found out as to the presence of Rohingyas and Nepalis, and obviously in Bengal it's a big issue. But Prime Minister spoke about many things. He spoke about infrastructure projects. He talked about 5,000 to 5,400 crore investment across oil, gas, power, rail and road sectors. He also talked about what is happening about Gunda tax and Gunda Raj and what is happening. He appealed to the youth and to the women there. And whether it's in Bihar or it's in Bengal, he talked about the illegal infiltration and when it comes to identity determination. And also he spoke about how come so many youth are fleeing West Bengal. That is also a big issue. So you have to look at that. And what is it about the Gunda Raj? It obstructs investment. So it is multi-pronged. It is not one thing. But I was pointing out at the fact that Prime Minister has asked Mamata Banerjee for this, and people of Bengal will see.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Tausif Rahman, Shazia Ilmi, Nigat Abbas, Parimal Kumar, Professor Mehta and Sajjan Kumar on this broadcast. Of course, elections in Bihar will be held later this year. All eyes will be on this battle, which is going to be one of the most turning points in the entire country's politics, because there is visible churn there in the state. A quick break, and then coming up, a special show on the man who has created history. Right there on the ticker that we are showing. We'll get details on him in just a bit.